Good evening. Call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Education for September 22nd, 2021. Will everyone please rise for the pledge to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. A reading of our mission statement. We are committed to academic achievement and success for all students in a safe environment. In partnership with families and our community, our mission is to promote confidence, inspire a passion for learning, and to prepare our students to become responsible global citizens. Before I move on with the agenda, just two housekeeping notes. Dr. Koifman is running a little bit late, and Anthony Anderson, unfortunately, is unable to be with us tonight, so they're not in attendance. Dr. Koifman will be here in a few minutes. May I have a motion to approve the revised agenda?
Motion.
A second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We're very excited this evening that we have our student board representative here for the first time. He's been on some travels that he'll tell us about later on in the evening, but we're so excited to welcome you, Omer Mosker. So we're going to issue you your official oath, okay? Just stand up. Get my paper here. Okay, please stand, raise your right hand, and state the following. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
of America
of America
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office
of the office
of ex officio board trustee
of ex officio board trustee
of the Monroe-Woodbury Central School District
of the Monroe-Woodbury Central School District
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Okay, thank you so much. Congratulations, Omar. And we'll be hearing from him a little bit later in the evening. We'd like to recognize also the acknowledgement of the National Merit Scholarship semifinalist this year, which was Evan Liu, a Monroe-Woodbury High School senior. So congratulations to Evan. Questions and comments from interested citizens? Thank you. Okay, so we have one speaker this evening. The podium's over here. Excuse me, I was looking for it over here. So feel free to come up. You are entitled to your 3 minutes of speaking, and Ms. Vitucci will let you know when your time is up. So Amy Warner, and she will be speaking on active pure technology for every classroom and space in the school and on the buses.
Okay.
Go ahead,
Hi.
thank you.
My name is Amy Warner, and this is my very first Board of Education meeting, and I've had a child in the school district since 1995, so that's a long time to go without going to one of these meetings, but I'm glad to be here, and thank you for letting me speak. If there was technology proven to safely reduce SARS-CoV-2 in the air by 99.96% in 3 minutes, do you think that's something that we should talk about? I mean, is that interesting? I won't ask too many questions. That'll be my only question. There's technology called Active Pure that was sorry for my notes. Testing Active Pure was conducted by one of the world's top biosafety testing facilities, the University of Texas Medical Branch, which primarily tests for the military and the CDC. So it exists. You plug it in and you turn it on, and our children will be exposed to less chemicals if we just plug this in and turn it on in our offices, in our classrooms, in the gymnasium, everywhere, on the buses, on the way home. It sterilizes the surfaces as well. So the entire Canadian healthcare system has this, the Tennessee and Texas state capitals, the Cleveland Clinic in every surgery room has this. Plug in and turn it on. It's amazing technology. Almost all Major League Baseball teams have it running in their locker room because they don't want their team players to get sick. The Chicago and Philadelphia school districts are running it, and you can look up, I have an article here, Philadelphia Inquirer, that has an article about the technology that I'm talking about in their entire school district of 120,000 students. So it's keeping everyone safe, and the children are going home with SARS-CoV-2 free in the air and on the surfaces, okay? So I'll just give you quick more things because I don't know how much time I have left. It's in the NASA Hall, this technology is in the NASA Hall of Fame. It sits next to pacemaker and GPS. It's FDA cleared technology. It's the only technology, well, I already said that. It reduces all pathogens in the air by over 99.99% in only 30 minutes, mold, viruses, fungi, bacteria, allergens, pollutants. It drops the particles 200 times faster than gravity. So worst case scenario is people wouldn't have to maybe use their nebulizers, maybe. I'm not saying I'm not a doctor, so I'm just saying that we'll all be breathing in pristine air, and we wouldn't have to worry about exposure to chemicals. I noticed that there was a fogging thing that was sprayed over here, and I don't know what type of chemicals are in that, but if anything you touch on your skin goes into your bloodstream. So that's important for a health concern. So with that, there's so much more. There's no lack of studies. I have some information here. I have the Philadelphia Inquirer. There's just no lack of information, as you can see, all those other places have it. I would say that Monroe-Woodbury could lead the way for the state of New York. So if anyone
Thank
has any
you.
questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
If you'd like, you can leave the documents with Ms. Vitucci, and she'll make sure that we get them.
Sure, and
Thank you.
is this where you ask if you can introduce more, like in a meeting, a Zoom meeting later down the road, or?
So typically, when you come and speak, there will be a response at the next meeting.
Okay.
So at our next meeting is when we'll respond
Great.
to, right, exactly.
right.
But if you have any documents you'd like to leave, you can leave them, and
I'll
Ms.
leave it.
Vitucci will get them to us.
I'll leave them right here.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome, thank you. Update on questions and comments from interested citizens.
We
Elsie?
do not have any updates. I think the last time we had our meeting, we had a parent ask, one of the questions was, what kind of professional development have you provided the district or staff over the past 5 years? And so Dr. Hassler and I have been talking about it, and that's a really long, exhaustive list. So we would rather, for the speaker to reach out to Dr. Hassler personally. He can give him that information. For me to sit here and read a list of, over 100 different courses that people have taken would probably not be the best thing to do.
Okay, thank you. An update on the district goals.
Bargoff, do you want to start?
Sure. Thank you, Elsie. So we started with the goal one about putting the data systems together. And what we have done so far, we have selected the vendor. Power School is our current student management system. About 3 years before, they acquired a company called Hanuit. What it does, it allows the data connection and creates the view for ultimately our teachers, but starting with the administrators, to see what are the data that's going to flow through the system. As a step one, we have started configuration of data and provided the company the data for the last 5 years of our local assessment, which is a STAR assessment that we've been doing in the district for about 8 years. So we gave them the data last 5 years. The next step for us is to give them the state data that is generally a published data. So the more information that they can put it in, ultimately they'll activate our software as a service, and from that point on, we should be able to access the data. So we are on schedule, as we shared with the board in the past, the whole project planning. So we are on schedule, and we are making good progress.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank
Patrick?
you.
Right, so this is an update on goal number 3, which involved pre-referendum capital planning. So we're planning for a referendum in May of 2022, May 17th. And as you know, the district has deferred a lot of capital projects in the past. And so we're in need of a lot of upgrades, a lot of replacements of building systems. We've talked a lot about that. So goal number 3 had to do with the pre-referendum planning piece, which step number 1 would be engaging an architect, right, in an engineering firm. So the first piece of that was going through a request for proposal process, and that's The point in that process we're at now, we anticipate having the RFP ready by Friday. It'll be like out on the street. Friday, we've put in the advertisement for that, and we'll give the respondents about 3 weeks to submit their proposals. We'll evaluate those potentially in conjunction with the Facilities Committee and Visitation Committees, and we hope to appoint an architect in late October, potentially the October 27th meeting. I know that's a planning meeting, but it might be helpful because time is of the essence for this kind of thing to be able to do that at that meeting. If you look back at the timeline we had laid out, we're a bit behind schedule, but I think we can pretty easily make that up, in the next couple of months. And pretty much I look at the RFP we've structured as sort of two phases. Phase one had to do with the pre-referendum planning, which would be working with the board, the facilities committee, district staff, the community, and developing a scope of work with cost estimates associated with that, a conceptual design process, if you will. Timelines associated with that, how would we roll this out, scheduling, budgets, that sort of thing. And it would be all the information we would need to present to the public. It would also involve helping us, and it's sort of a gray area, who would do more, or, who would take the lead on that, but initiating a public relations or public information campaign to sort of educate the public about what we're doing, what the needs are, what this will cost them. And one of the key pieces about this, and a key thing that we would be talking about, is how we're trying to arrange this or set this up so that it would have little or no impact on the district's budget. And we can do that through a combination of use of capital reserve, building aid, which is aid that's available through the state for capital projects, and the retirement of existing debt. So if we time this right and we do this right, it would have little or no impact on the taxpayer and the tax levy and the budget of the district. So there's a lot to do, but that's the specific point we're at. We have the RFP ready to go. We're going to roll it out on Friday and proceed from there.
Okay, so I just want to clarify, when you were referencing for October 27th, you're saying that would potentially be a date that we would give an approval for something?
Yes.
Okay, and that's, as of now, it's a Board of Ed working session, but you're saying that it could potentially be a meeting where we would have to actually go ahead and have a public meeting to approve something?
Well, I didn't really run this by Elsie.
Okay.
But,
Well, you kind of just did.
so that's probably the wrong thing and the wrong way to do it.
Either way.
But I think the next meeting is November 8th, maybe?
Okay.
Is that when the next meeting is, Don?
I think the next
October
public meeting, yes.
6th.
November, yeah.
No, but after the 27th. The October 27th, there's a working session.
Yeah.
So,
November
if we had
8th
to-
is the board meeting, right.
if we had to do it on the 8th, it wouldn't be the end of the world. It just buys us, in fact, it probably doesn't matter that much. But it's one of those things. I feel a little concerned, only because we've had a lot of transportation issues at the beginning of the year, like we do every year, but it's a little worse this year. So that's taken a lot of our time and our energy. So it put us a little bit behind schedule on goal number 3.
Okay.
And the first step of that was doing the RFP. So
Okay.
we were hopeful to have that done by the end of summer. So we're a bit behind schedule. That's the only reason I was sort of advocating to push it a little bit.
Okay, so potentially October 27th, and I apologize, it's not November 8th, it's November 10th.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Matt, did you want to share anything?
Sure. I focused on goal number 2, which revolves around strengthening community engagement and parent support. And so basically, when we last met, we talked about how Betsy Smith from PLC had met with myself and Bargov and Carol Spenley, and that she was going to be meeting with our school administrators. And she's since done that. She met with them to go over all their areas of strength from the last survey, and then any areas of opportunity that that the whole group felt that they could improve upon. Additionally, we as a cabinet met with the district's PTA council, and one of the discussion points that they brought up was their intention to really hone in and focus on family engagement this year.
I'm sorry, can you, about
Sorry,
what?
hone in and focus on family engagement this year.
Okay.
So I did reach out to Bernie Vega, who's the PTA council president, and we spoke. We'll be setting up a subsequent meeting, but it makes sense to align ourselves and work closely with the PTA council and get their ideas for how they feel we can support them in terms of family engagement, and then how they can support us. So those are the next steps as far as that goal, number 2.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
Anything else?
I'm sorry.
Was that all the updates?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yes.
Thank you.
I would like to make a request that, because district goals are really important, I really think a document should be put together ahead of the meeting and provided out on the portal so that the public could see it, and then we could also inform ourselves to ask the right questions. I found it a little difficult to hear tonight. I think it's just this feedback in the audience. So I think having a document available ahead of time so that we could look at it would really be helpful.
We can probably make a document after this and then put it up. as
But
part of-
if going forward, we could have it ahead
Sure.
of time, I think that would be very helpful.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the July 28th, 2021 regular meeting, August 17th, 2021 special meeting, and the August 25th, 2021 regular meeting?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
A first reading of the policy manual update. I'll just give a brief update on this. Policy meeting did meet. We are going ahead and updating policy number 4212.02, which is an organizational chart for the superintendent of schools. That is also going to be used in our board manual, which is another agenda item later this evening. We are also modifying policy number 7220 and 7220R, which is labeled graduation requirements. That was a mandate that came down from New York State that the language needed to be changed. It needed to be updated to now read, where it used to say world languages previously, it will now read, it now needs to read world languages. It previously read languages other than English. So within that document, we have gone through and made those changes, and I do believe there's some changes that are being made to some curriculum stuff on the website where that language might be noted. So that is what that policy is for this evening. So may I have a motion to approve the first reading?
Motion. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. May I have a motion to waive the second reading?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. May I have a motion to approve the Board of Education manual?
Motion. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I should just make a note there also, I know I was going to mention it at the end when I speak, but we did have our board retreat on September 11th, and that was one of the things of business that we discussed was in regards to our board manual. So any updates that we made on September 11th are now in the document, which will be posted on the website now that it's been approved. Committee reports. I just kind of did a little bit of policy. I'll just update a couple of others. We did work on a few other policies this week when we met. They are coming down as mandates from State Education Department. So one of the policies we have now sent over to our attorneys to make sure that we have proper language. It's in regards to diversity and equity. There's some stuff that's coming down. We've mentioned it previously as our updates that New York State is coming down with the DEI policy that they're having us work on. So we have now sent that over to the attorneys. We also have another policy that we're working on, 8635E, which I know Dr. Vyas is looking into, that we believe we need to add a link now to the URL because SED is telling us that it's missing a piece in there. So that's something that we have to update. We just did the 7220R. And the last one that we worked on this week that we are also going to follow up on is the State Ed Department is now mandating that we have guidance in our school charge lunch accounts that has specific language in that. So we are going to meet with Mr. Anson and kind of fine tune all of that, and then that will probably be on our October agenda for those policies. So that's what policy has done. Dawn, visitation?
We met yesterday for the first time. We visited the bus garage and Harriman Center, and I think a lot of the conversation at the bus garage might have been overshadowed by some of the challenges that are, existing right now, but I think overall, the bus garage is doing well. Patrick, do you want to add anything to some of the structural or?
Yeah, sure.
capital thoughts?
There were a few things we discussed, mostly related to some of the security vestibules that came about as a result of the visitation committee meeting and visits to buildings. So at the high school, we had started that project some months ago, and we're finally at the point where there was some issues with the interior automatic locking mechanism for the doors. And that's either, I think it was resolved today, so I would say by the end of the month, that security vestibule should be fully functional and being used. And there were also a couple of issues with the vestibule at North Main and the middle school. Again, I think it had to do with the locking mechanisms between the exterior and interior door. So I think those were resolved likely today. So that's good news. Those would be, fully functional and in use, especially here at the high school, because that has not been in use as of yet. We talked about some of the other issues at the bus garage, namely the replacement of the underground storage fuel tanks, and we've kind of acknowledged that although that's needed, that's kind of a large capital project, and that would sort of fall more into the referendum that I was discussing earlier today. And we also talked about and reviewed, I would call them prototype signs, exterior, outside signs for the field and some of the facilities here on the main campus with CV, the middle school and the high school. And we got some feedback, right? And we're going to go back and, kind of revisit what we have right now, the prototypes we have, and try to refine that a little bit, and ultimately install probably somewhere between 4 and 5 signs outside that would direct visitors to the appropriate field. It would have a key, identify the, all the fields on the property, the proper parking areas. We talked about having a QR code that would link generally back to the district website and the athletics section of the website to provide information for visitors. So, it's a worthwhile thing, and I think we're going to, with that feedback that we got and the discussion we had, which was very productive, make some revisions and try to roll that out soon.
Thank you. Can I just ask, because I'm not sure, I know you mentioned the equipment that came in. So is the high school man trap completed, and when do you anticipate that that's going to be up and operational?
My understanding is that it was going to be completed either today or tomorrow.
Okay.
The company that was coming to do the work, Open Systems, we were scheduled, and it would be ready, I would say, in a matter of days. I just said the end of the month to be, sort of on the safe side, but it could be ready as soon as the end of the week.
Okay.
Actually, if they're here
So
tomorrow.
there's no official date as to when they're going to make the switch, because right now the security is inside of the building, but then it's basically going to be in that vestibule, correct?
What we'd want to do is I'd want to ensure that everything is working properly.
Right.
And then in consultation with, the high school principal and security director and facilities director, we would make the switch, I think, operationally.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Patrick,
I'm
I'm
sorry.
Stacy. So yesterday, there was some conversation about the parking at the athletic fields. Is there an update on that you can share?
Yes, the parking around Field 12, which is the baseball soccer field, it's been determined to be a little inadequate at times, and we kind of knew that, actually. There's not a lot of room there to create a larger parking space, and that was one of the parking lots that was done as part of the DOT project. So that wasn't even something the district had to pay for. That was, part of the impact, that DOT was mitigating. And, we've had some conversations internally. I've had conversations with Andre, facilities director, and Lori Hawk, the athletic director. We've sort of settled on what we think is a longer-term plan, which would be a parking lot, another parking lot in the vicinity of Field 12. It's sort of between Central Valley, the back of Central Valley. I think it's the practice field number 11 where they practice football, somewhere in that vicinity. So it would be very close to the stadium field, the main field. And then if you just went a little bit west up that hill, you'd go right into the soccer and baseball field. So that's the long-term solution. And again, that would be part of a larger capital referendum, because that's sort of a low point in the property. So there would be a lot of drainage required, and we'd want to have a fairly large parking lot that would accommodate kind of anything almost. So that might take, I would say, at least a couple of years to get that accomplished. What we talked about in terms of shorter term things which, may or may not be feasible, is potentially having people park at one of the buildings and trying to shuttle them down to the Field 12. But there isn't any really optimal solution other than the longer-term real answer, which is adding more parking right in that area.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Don, for audit?
There's no update on audit and facilities. As Patrick mentioned before, moving forward with the budgets and things of that nature, we're starting to have discussions about these things tend to come up very fast. In the last times we did capital budgets, things tend to wait a long time and then rush toward the end. So we're trying. I sent out some emails this week about trying to start planning for some of these things. Like right now we have a lot of proprietary systems that cost a lot of money. So we want to start to look at open systems, things that are more common that, like I know the fire system right now is very, very expensive. So that's in the budget. So we're at least starting to have discussions about preparing for looking at technology that can replace that's more open and not closed. That's it.
Okay, thank you. And we do have an audit meeting scheduled for October 14th, and our facilities meeting is actually next week on the 28th of September.
Yeah.
So those are our next meetings. Okay, so now we move on to our agenda item, which is a report by our new Student Board of Representative. So go ahead, Omar, why don't you give an opportunity to talk about yourself and tell us this is our first chance of physically meeting you after you've been jet setting this summer. So go ahead and tell us what your plans are.
Hi. I just want to say hi and thank you for the opportunity to be here today. As Ms. McCleary mentioned, I was away this summer. I visited Israel with a group of young students across the country. It was an amazing experience, once in a lifetime. But now that I'm back, my plans for the future is that I plan to visit all the schools in the school district in the next month or so, and I will be in contact with all the principals. And my goal is to meet with a group of students and kind of talk to them, see how they're feeling about their school, how COVID has affected them, and basically just see how they're feeling. And then from that, I'll devise an update from each school and then kind of summarize it into one big update that I will give it to all of you guys the next meeting. And I just want to try my best to help each student so they feel comfortable and satisfied with their day. Yeah, essentially.
Okay, thank you. And I know that you haven't had a chance to visit some of the schools yet, but you are a high school senior. So how are things going for you so far this year? I know it's only, the third week of school, but so far so good. How are you feeling that things are going? Has any of the students in the high school, just for the simple nature that you're in this building, has anybody reached out to you? How are things going?
No one in particular has reached out to me, but the first couple weeks has been amazing. It's been very fun to come back and see all the students back from remote that I didn't expect to see. Seeing those friendly faces were nice to see. The school is handling it pretty well, the whole situation with COVID, and there's not much complaints as of now.
Okay, good.
But,
Okay.
Good, no, that's a good thing. No,
yes.
that's a good thing.
but I'll keep everyone updated.
All right, good. And hopefully you'll be able to come back and report on some of the great things that are going to start to happen. I know it's exciting times, homecoming, all that kind of stuff. So hopefully we'll have some exciting information from you in the next couple of months.
Yeah, it also
Okay.
works out because I'm in student government, so I'm part of that.
Okay.
I'll get everything.
All right, great. Thank you so much. Okay, Matt, for personnel.
Good evening. So there are a number of items under personnel. One thing I just want to point out first are we have a number of retirees who will be retiring, some soon, some later. But we have Tom Beams, who was a custodian for a long time here at the high school. We have Linda Gorman, who's an account clerk in food services. And then we have Kristen Haas, who's going to retire at the end of the school year. She was a longtime teacher in the school district and then became a teaching assistant in the last few years of her tenure here. All three of them, will be missed. We wish them a lot of luck and congratulations. The other thing I would like to point out is there is a resolution at the end of the personnel items between the district and the CSEA. and our CSEA union represent our school bus drivers, our custodial workers, our buildings and grounds and maintenance crew. And basically, as you've already heard a number of times tonight, school bus drivers, there's a shortage. It's very challenging for a lot of districts, including ours. And so this is a memorandum of agreement to help with the recruitment efforts of school bus drivers. There is a sign-on bonus, and one of the things that I think you've probably noticed around town and just in the area are bonuses that are being offered particularly by private companies and contractors, and who can pay a certain amount to start, which is hard as a school district sometimes to compete with. However, for those people who are considering and looking forward, some type of work, one of the greatest benefits that we offer as a public school district is membership into the New York State pension system. And that is very different than most private companies, that once you've worked, a certain number of years and you're eligible to retire, that you can retire with a pension. And that is one of the benefits of just being in a civil service position as opposed to a private company at different points. So I would like to point that out. If you're looking to become a bus driver and have a pension, come on over to Monroe-Woodbury. And that's really it. So with that, I would respectfully request approval for the items listed under personnel.
Motion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, next item is that we have a resolution for the contract. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Monroe-Woodbury Central School District herewith approves a certain Fifth Amendment to the employment contract dated April 19th between the Monroe-Woodbury Central School District and Matthew Kravitz, Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources. And, I'm sorry, it doesn't say all of them, but I'm saying all of them, correct?
It does say all of them. There's 16.1, 16.2, 16.3, 16.4.
Oh, okay, so I went ahead too far to 16.5. So 16.1, 16.2, 16.3, 16.4, and 16.5, which is a resolution for Matthew Kravitz, Dr. Hassler, Dr. Valles, Patrick Cahill, and Mrs. Elsie Rodriguez. May I have a motion for the contract?
Motion.
A second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And with that, we will do a new oath of office for the superintendent. Sorry, I have my official thing here. Please stand, raise your right hand, and state the following.
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the Office of Superintendent of Schools of the Monroe-Woodbury Central School District according to the best of my abilities.
Thank you very much. Okay. Patrick for Business and Financial.
Thanks, Stacy. I would respectfully request the approval of the items under the business and financial section of the agenda, which include our monthly financial reports for July, handful of donations. I'm going to actually go through those in a moment. 3 contracts and some obsolete items, approval of obsolete items for mainly kitchen equipment. But the donations, I just wanted to recognize individually. So we have 2 donations to North Main Elementary School, $1,000 from Orange and Rockland for a STEM classroom grant. We have $200 Tractor Supply gift card from James Hall for North Main Community Garden Project. 2 donations to the middle school, $372 for the Stop and Shop A+ Rewards Program, and a donation of a Jupiter flute to the MW Music Program. And we have 2 donations to the high school, $24 from the Blackbaud Giving Fund on behalf of New York Life Insurance for MW Cares, and then finally $100 from Robert and Andrea Carey to the Monroe-Woodbury High School Scholarship Fund in honor of Andre Lemire, who is Andrea's uncle. So Andre Lemire, in honor of his 80th birthday. And he was a former teacher here at the high school, a math teacher for many years. He was also, I guess, a track official, as was his wife, and involved in the ski club. And his niece wrote a very nice note, which we were going to, I don't know if we shared it with the board, but that he was a lifelong learner, and all about community service. And he wanted this donation to go to a student, as a scholarship who was, also into those things, community service and lifelong learner. So a very nice note, and glad to hear that, Mr. Lemire has enjoyed his time here and is, doing well. So,
Okay, thank you very much.
you're welcome.
May I have a motion?
Motion?
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to approve the arrangement of the recommended placements by the Committee on Special Education, which is 19.1, 19.2, 19.3, and 19.4?
Motion.
Second?
A second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Reports by board and central office. Dawn?
I just want to say I hope everyone had a great start to their school year, and looking forward
I'm
to.
sorry, I can't hear. I don't know what's wrong.
It's very hard to hear in here tonight.
Yeah.
Period, for some reason, but I just wanted to welcome everyone back and hope they had a great start to their year, and I'm looking forward to attending some of the open houses, albeit virtually, although I did like that format, so.
Thank you. Don?
Yeah, welcome back to school. Hope everybody's enjoying the first day of fall, I think, today, at what, 3:20? Other than that, I'm good.
Thank you. Suzanne?
Yeah, I'd like to wish everyone a productive and successful school year, and I'd like to congratulate our retirees and also to welcome Omer. It's a pleasure to have you, and have a nice evening.
Thank you. Jamel?
Welcome to Omer as well. Welcome to the team, and looking forward to attending my first audit committee meeting. Learn from people like Don and others to figure out exactly what's expected, and do what I need to do there. So that's it.
Thank you. Omar, I know you just spoke, but anything else you'd like to add?
Looking forward to working with all of you this year, and yeah, have a great school year. And I know you guys are in school, but
Not anymore.
Thank you. Donna?
Just wanted to say welcome to Omer. Great to have you aboard. Wanted to just call out one specific retirement tonight. Linda Gorman, who is a very dear friend of mine, congratulations. I know it's nerve-wracking and change is always, tough, but I wish you all the best. I'm going to miss you greatly. Love her.
Thank you. Bhargav?
Congratulations to Evan being nominated in the semifinal, and good luck for the final. Omar, welcome. We're looking forward to work with you. Big shout out to our support staff, administrators, teachers, and parents on a really good start of beginning of the school year. We are still distributing the devices. As of now, we have 98.7% of our students have the district device, and we are planning to reach out. I'm working through Dr. Morales' office to reach out to the students who still do not have the devices.
Thank you. Eric?
I've been asked to give a quick eye-opening enterprise update. Our building implementation teams are being finalized for the 21-22 school year, and the buildings are beginning to schedule their meetings for their implementation teams. Some of them have met already, and the remainder of the schools will be meeting in the near future. The implementation teams are building-level teams that consist of about 10 members that include staff and parents as well as students at the secondary level. And these groups are tasked with examining equitable opportunities in their schools for all students academically and experientially for the students within their school buildings. At our last Board of Ed meeting, Mrs. Rodriguez had encouraged parents to reach out to their schools to participate in those teams, and I'm happy to report that parents are doing that, so we continue to invite parents to participate. And once the building level implementation teams have been finalized, we'll then finalize our district-wide team for the 21-22 school year. That district-wide team consists of representatives from all 7 schools, as well as additional parent and student representatives and members of the district-wide leadership team. The goal of that team is basically to organize some of the district-wide initiatives and work on some broader scale items that the district has uncovered that we want to focus on. In addition, we're working with Eye Opening Enterprises to continue our professional development, where we will be completing Module 3 of their bridge ticker program in the fall, and Module 4 will be scheduled for completion in the springtime. Beyond that work, I agree with everyone else. Congratulations to Evan. He's one of about 16,000 semifinalists out of over 1.5 million students who initially took the PSAT. So congratulations and best of luck in the next round of the competition. Welcome to Omer onto the Board of Education. And just, it is fantastic to be back to a full opening of school with everybody back in person, and to see the schools fully operational with everyone back in the classrooms. It has been an awesome, awesome, awesome thing. So congratulations to everybody who worked very, very hard in making that happen. Thanks.
Thank you. Patrick?
Yeah, so I'd just like to echo what everyone else has said, and I'd also like to kind of acknowledge and thank our transportation staff, our bus drivers and our staff, and especially the director, Dawn Russell, and assistant director, Jesse Lazar. They've been really holding things together under really difficult circumstances and working some really long hours. And a lot of this has been outside of their direct control. We've had issues with contractors and things in terms of transportation, so I just want to thank them and acknowledge them for the work they've been doing. Welcome, Omer, to the board. I'm sure you'll be a great addition, and just have a good night, everyone.
Thank you. Matt?
Thank you. So while we're on the thank you bandwagon, one of the things that continues to keep people busy is our responses to COVID, which continues to be an issue across all the land. But between Lisa Sassy, our school nurses, our school administrators, and our clerical staff, both inside the nurse's office and then inside the main offices, when it comes to contact tracing and quarantining, a lot falls on their plate, so a big thank you to all of them. Omer, welcome. You know, you're not going to hear it enough because, you know, it's a good gig. It's a really important gig for you. So congratulations and good luck, and anything you need, you have from all of us. And I just want to echo what some people say. It's so nice to have life in the building, so much life in the building, and it's wonderful to see all these kids. And I don't normally comment on the business office side of things, but I do want to say thank you for their approval of the contract with EAP. So the Employee Assistance Program is something that is a direct benefit to our staff, particularly those who may find themselves struggling or having a difficult time at different points in their lives. And if any time over the last, 10, 20 years has been challenging for a lot of people, it's been the last year and a half. So thank you for approving that tonight, because it is an important service. So I appreciate that. That's all I have. Have a nice night.
Okay. Thank you very much. Dan?
I'm just going to wish everybody a good night. Get home safe.
Thank you. Michael?
Ditto. Wish everyone a good evening. See you at the next meeting.
Thank you. Elsie?
I want to wish Omer, welcome Omer. I want to say congratulations to our retirees, and thank you for your service. Congratulations, Evan. I want to remind everyone, I got this little card, and you might see some of us wearing these gold ribbon. This month, the high school PTSA welcomes back teachers and staff, and September is Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month, a time to recognize the children and families affected by childhood cancer, and to emphasize the importance of support research of this devastating condition. So MW Gold is September 24th, which is this Friday. And then I also wanted to say that the MW PTA Council, SEPTA and PTA have a membership drive for September 29th and the 30th. And their focus this year is to bring safe, engaging, and international PTA events that are inclusive of all of the students while they navigate an ever-changing guidelines. And with that, thank you.
Thank you. I also want to say thank you for our Go Gold ribbons, and I echo what Mrs. Rodriguez said, so please join and support your PTAs. If I'm not mistaken, all of their links for their member hub can be found on the district website, so your $10 goes a long way to help support a lot of the activities that the kids are hopefully going to be able to participate in this year. I want to also welcome Omer. We wish you all the best, and you know that if you need anything, feel free to reach out. And I do know that you'll be reaching out to the building principals, so that hopefully come October, you'll have some reports from all of the students across Monroe-Woodbury. I know it's been great to be back. I want to thank all of the administrators that invited the board into the buildings on the first day of school. I was able to go and see quite a few of them. I had a couple that I went to afterwards, but to echo what everybody else said here, I am very grateful that we are able to have the doors open and the kids in the buildings, masked and everything. They are thrilled to be back in here, and I think it's been a successful start, minus a couple of hiccups with some of the transportation, which, hopefully will get worked out. I'd also like to recognize, we had a handful of students that actually participated in a 9/11 memorial in town, and I just want to say thank you to the parent who reached out to the board and just recognized some of those students. I know we don't say it enough sometimes up here, although I do try. We have a lot of phenomenal things that go on in our community, and our students participate in a lot of that. I know hopefully now Omer will be able to bring some of that to the forefront now that we're back in school session, and he'll be able to tell us some of the great things that some of the kids in the district are doing. But it really is wonderful to get emails such as that of what our faculty and staff and students are able to do outside of the school community and bridge that with the actual community within Monroe. So I know that they went and they performed, forgive me, I just want to read, I believe it was for the, or a couple of the orchestra students went and performed at the 9/11 memorial. So I just want to say thank you for that. It's always great to get that feedback about the students. And with that, I say thank you, and may I have a motion to adjourn into executive session for the
Motion.
purpose of discussing litigation matters?
Motion.
A second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.